The Celtics enjoyed one of the greatest in-season turnarounds in recent memory, transforming from a borderline play-in tournament team in 2021 to the best team in basketball in 2022, statistically speaking. Their defense is impeccable under first-year coach Ime Udoka, and Jayson Tatum emerged as a bona fide MVP candidate at the helm of an 8-man rotation full of length and versatility on both ends of the court. This was evident in Game 2 in their current series against the Milwaukee Bucks. Today's video will be about why the Boston Celtics have all the pieces to win it all this season. It was all on display in their first-round series against the Nets. Boston swarmed both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, daring Brooklyn's woeful supporting cast to make enough plays to remain competitive. And even then, the Celtics did not make it easy on anyone. The result was a first-round sweep that left everyone who watched to wonder whether Tatum has surpassed the 33-year-old Durant on the NBA's hierarchy. Before we go any further, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Let's keep rolling. The Celtics have simply been the best team in the NBA for the last 3 months, running off victories in 26 of their last 32 regular season outings, only to step into the postseason nearly peaking. Robert Williams III held up that process somewhat after undergoing knee surgery in March, but he returned for Boston's Game 3 win over the Nets in the first round. Celtics coach Ime Udoka admitted that Williams' layoff negatively affected his conditioning, but that's an area they've worked to improve over the course of nearly a week as the club awaited its next opponent. The battle-tested Boston Celtics have found themselves in the conference semifinals for the 5th time in the last 6 years, hosting a formidable foe in the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, which enter Game 3 still likely missing one of their top players in 3-time All-Star Chris Middleton, who is reportedly expected to miss the entire series. Here's what the Celtics need to do to keep their momentum in Game 3 and beyond. 1. Defending Antetokounmpo. Boston opened up the playoffs against Durant by throwing the kitchen sink at him early, and that definitely affected his rhythm. In just the first half of Game 1, the Celtics defended Durant with Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, and Grant Williams, limiting one of the game's all-time great scorers to just 7 points on 2 for 10 shooting. Giannis had his way in Game 1, but shot 11 for 27 in Game 2, with Boston making significant adjustments. They still need to bring their A-game, though. Comparing the two, Tatum matched up against Durant as the primary defender for much of the opening round, but Antetokounmpo outweighs the Celtics wing by more than 30 pounds. Either way, you can expect plenty of double teams to be flying at Antetokounmpo in Game 3. The 2-time Kia MVP needs to keep an eye out for Brown too, as he's averaging 2.5 steals in the playoffs. 2. Elite two-way Tatum. Tatum's confidence is soaring after his performance in the opening round against fellow superstar Durant. The 3-time All-Star averaged 29.5 points, 7.3 assists, and 1.8 steals in the first round, but he's facing a stiffer defense in the semifinals led by Antetokounmpo and Holiday, with Brook Lopez anchoring the interior. The positive for Tatum is he's improved tremendously this season as a playmaker and is facilitating with confidence, as shown by his 8 assists in Game 2. Tatum and Brown are already difficult enough to slow down, but Smart, Horford, Grant Williams, and Peyton Pritchard have been deadly from deep so far in the postseason. Stan Van Gundy had high praise for JT. Tatum, at the end of last year, was thought of in this league as a great scorer. Now he is a great player, and it is because he has become an outstanding defender and a willing and very good playmaker. The regular season series between these two teams was relatively offensive, with the Celtics and Bucks combining to score almost 116 points per 100 possessions over the 4 games. But the Celtics defense has generally played at a high level all season, and the Bucks defense has seemingly flipped the switch. The Celtics has employed the same wall of defenders against Antetokounmpo that held firm against him in the 2018 playoffs and crumbled in 2019. Horford would sprint to the free throw line as a second line of defense, as Tatum, Brown, Smart and company steered him to the middle. Robert Williams provides a third layer of protection, hedging from the corner for added rim protection. How much help Boston's primary defenders continue to show the 2-time MVP will dictate how open his teammates are, and likely determine the series. Grant Williams defended Antetokounmpo more than anyone on the Celtics during the regular season to some success, just as he did against Durant in the first round. Tatum took on the responsibility of defending Durant and could see stopping another superstar as his calling, if he wants to establish himself as the alpha. Antetokounmpo has seen a variety of on-ball defenders, including Brown and Smart, all of whom are capable of providing considerable resistance. If any of the Celtics, or a rotating cast of them, can prevent Antetokounmpo from drawing 2 or 3 defenders in the paint, the Bucks will see their title defense end in the second round of these playoffs. Now in his 4th year as a pro, the Timelord has become one of the most effective centers in the NBA this year. He is the anchor for Boston's notoriously stingy defense and offers a consistent and punishing threat around the rim on offense. As a complement to Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, he is an integral part of this Celtics club. Williams ranked 2nd in blocks per game in the NBA this season, averaging 2.2 a night. He was 15th in rebounds and 3rd in offensive rebounds. Even the quickest glance at the stat sheet shows a high-impact defensive player. What is definitely going to be the X factor is Al Horford, who has looked impeccable against the Nets. His defense and rebounding have gone largely unanswered, and his shooting and playmaking are a huge asset to the Celtics. Horford averaged 32.0 minutes per game against Brooklyn. With Williams in the mix, that number can come down a tad. Horford will turn 36 in June after all. If Grant Williams and Jayson Tatum continue to play well at the power forward position, Timelord can allow Horford to rest a bit more per game. No other player on the Celtics roster, with the possible exception of designated rim protector Robert Williams III, boasts a better combination of length, strength, and quickness than Horford. If he can continue to keep Antetokounmpo from creasing the paint, aided by active and aggressive help behind him, it'll go a long way toward Boston dethroning the champs. Horford will factor into that dynamic as a help defender when Boston switches screens involving Antetokounmpo on and off the ball. He'll also spend ample time guarding Jrue Holiday after switches, a matchup that could swing the series. A massive part of the Celtics' otherworldly turnaround this season has been the growth and evolution of Marcus Smart as a point guard. The improved judgment, picking and choosing his shots, and the mutual trust between him and his teammates has allowed Boston's offense to flow freely. Smart is averaging the most assists of his career with 5.9 assists per game, as well as shooting 41.8% from the field, his best percentage since 2018-19. With the current makeup of this roster and a clear path to the point guard position, Smart was finally given the keys to Boston's offense. The path to where the team is now was not without its fair share of speed bumps and detours, but the Celtics grew during arguably the greatest in-season turnaround in NBA history. Smart has been vital to the defensive renaissance in Boston and hopefully will return from injury later in the series. It cannot be overstated how much of the team's success has come from players buying into their roles, especially Marcus Smart. He asked for everyone to put their trust in him. True to his word, Smart has delivered the results we all have hoped for. The work isn't finished, but it's safe to say that Marcus Smart will continue to be the point guard that Boston needed. The C's appear to be complete in every way possible and are looking like early championship favorites, being the only sweepers in the first round. And what do you guys think? Do the Boston Celtics have all it takes to win? Who can match up with their defensive prowess? I would love to hear your opinion, so please let me know what you think in the comments.